Here is our speaker tonight. Interior design isn't just her profession. It's written into her bones. Prior to interior design, she was a sommelier and had been blessed with many rich experiences and travel opportunities through her involvement with the wine industry. But her soul yearned to do something deeper, to express her creativity with a long-standing love of interior spaces and architecture as the canvas. She believes that your home should excite, intrigue, and delight all of your senses. That's a high bar for your home. And that it should light you up when you come in and have been away, because together, she's created the home of her dreams. She wants it to be breathtakingly beautiful and feel perfectly perfect for every person she works with. Please give a big, warm AGC welcome to Amy, April, Amy's, everyone.
So you just have to look at me this whole time. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm April Amos, and thank you for that warm welcome, and thank you for inviting me to speak in front of your group today. So let's get into it. What do you think of when you think of your home? Does it feel comfortable, relaxed, peaceful? Does it buzz with the energy of your family coming and going at all times? Maybe it's a bit of both. When I think of home, I know how I want it to feel. I want it to feel breathtakingly beautiful and well-appointed. That would make me feel accomplished and successful. But I also want it to feel warm and cozy, and I want it to come alive with the laughter of my friends and family, sometimes. I want my office to feel calm and peaceful and inspiring. In other words, I want it to be my haven. When I'm designing for clients, I focus as much, if not more, on the way that they're going to use their space, but more importantly, how they want those spaces to feel. We can easily arrive at a specific aesthetic by simply replicating the pages in a magazine, but that lacks authenticity, and it doesn't reflect us as individuals. Because of this, I created my Haven method of design. You can easily adopt this method to create the spaces in your home that you'll love to spend time in. We don't have time today to go into a deep dive into any of these, but I think that this is a little sampler of some ideas for you. So let's get into it. In the word haven, the letter H relates to harmony. Harmony is about that flow in your home. It's about the way things come together. It's about you sitting in your living room and seeing into your hallway and into the next adjoining room, and the colors connect. It feels harmonious because the scale and the proportion are also in balance. Colors should flow from one space into another and not feel choppy and unrelated. I personally like to run a common thread of a single color through every room in my house. For me, that color is black. I like to do that in large or small ways. So in my living room, there's a big black kind of dresser, and there's a big black bookcase. But in another room, it might just be a stack of accessories that are on a table or something that's arranged on a shelf. It links the rooms together in a cohesive way. I use a lot of color in my house. So it's always a game of layering those items that are especially colorful against like vintage rugs or things that I've collected on my travel against a backdrop of neutral or a semi-neutral kind of color palette. It keeps the chaos to a minimum, although I do like a little bit of organized chaos in my design as well. Scale is another thing to keep in mind. If you had vaulted ceilings in your home, you're not going to have little tiny furniture or small pieces of artwork on a big, huge wall. You always have to consider sort of making things relatable to each other. You wouldn't put a 70-inch television, over a 35-inch wide media console, for example. The letter A relates to authentic. Authentic is all about you and your story. I'm really only interested in a space that tells the story of who lives there. Anyone can walk into a furniture store and purchase a full vignette with a sofa and a love seat and a table and a lamp and a piece of art that goes together. But what does that say about you? What does that tell about your story? Not very much. In my previous home, I lived in Bayport. I had a house that was built in 1890. It was really old, and we had a huge kitchen. And my former father-in-law built this table out of the lane of a bowling alley. It was really cool. So we didn't have a traditional kind of kitchen center island. we had this really cool table that everybody came in and they're like, oh my God, what is this? This is amazing. And it always was something that felt like really unique, and it was made by somebody that we loved, and it always had a story that went with it. Sometimes your home itself has a story to tell in the case of a home like that. I think that our homes are at their best when they're developed organically, when they're developed over time. We curate things and we bring them into our lives. And it's wonderful to be able to go out and put a room together, but they really come together in a really special way when we've layered in elements of things that came from our parents, or things that came from other members of our family, or things from our kids, or something like that, that are sort of mingled in with the furnishings that we love. The letter V relates to the word value. This might appeal to the more practically minded people here, so this is going to be less on the emotional side and a little bit more on the practical side. But it always feels good to bring value into your home, to increase your home's value. When we know we're going to be selling our home, we start to perceive it through the lens of others. And we start to think about all the improvements that need to be made. But what if we made some of these improvements while we still live there? And when we're still enjoying our homes? There are a few ways to increase the value of your home, whether you're renting, whether you're planning to sell, or whether you are living now in your forever home. You can update your home's finishes. Go ahead and walk through your home with the eyes of somebody who's never been there before. Enter through the front door and notice everything with a notebook in hand. The chipped paint, the outdated light fixture. What does your welcome mat have to say about you? Then go back and prioritize those items in terms of where you'd like to make any improvements and investments. You've probably witnessed the amazing, we were just talking about this, you've probably witnessed the amazing difference a fresh coat of paint can have on a room. Making bigger changes, like replacing the hollow core doors in your room or in your home with solid panel doors, can really bring a more high-end feel, especially if your home is from like the second half of the 20th century, when there wasn't a lot of architectural detail that was put into most of the homes. You can swap out your cabinet hardware. It's little things like that that can increase the value, but also increase your value while you're living there. You can look around at your window treatments. If they haven't been touched, your shades, blinds, curtains in 20 years, it's time. Go for it. I personally find window treatments are one of the biggest bang for the buck type of things that we can do to improve our overall aesthetic of our home. Anything that you take out of your home when you're replacing it can be donated to a place like Restore, which is Habitat for Humanity's secondhand store. Basically, they take in any of your old furniture, any of your old hardware, anything like that, lamps, and they sell them to people who are making home improvements on their house. You can give them away or you can donate them. Another big thing is always to update your kitchen and bath. So any realtor will tell you that it's the kitchen that sells the house. If you and your partner love to cook, upgrading your kitchen in terms of functionality and aesthetics will bring you a tremendous amount of joy. Eliminating those pain points like getting on your hands and knees and crawling into the deep depths of your lower cabinets can be a thing of the past. Now there's fully extendable drawer glides that bring your pots and your pans to your fingertips. Think about the car that you drive, and what if you were driving the 1980s model of that car? Think about that. No backup cam, you had to put a key in the ignition to make it start. Are you driving a 1980s version of your kitchen? I love old homes. They're the best. I really love them. But I also love modern amenities. Creating updated amenities throughout your home will make you love and appreciate it even more. The letter E relates to energy. When I'm referring to energy, I'm talking about the way that we manipulate our environments to make it feel the way that we want it to feel. You might be surprised at the amount of psychology actually that's involved in interior design. Think about color. Color has the power to affect your mood very deeply actually, and your overall well-being. A pale blue room will put you in kind of a more relaxed meditative stance, might help you focus better, while a bright yellow room will raise the energy level naturally. The colors that we surround ourselves with should be considered not just for their perceived beauty, but for the way that they contribute to our physical and emotional backdrop of our lives. We can shape and shift the energy in our homes in other ways too. We only have time for a couple tips today, but lighting is a really good one. Natural light boosts our mood. It boosts our productivity. Designers and architects, we are always trying to design to maximize the amount of natural light in your house. Think about the way light affects you. Warm, low light, like candlelight, perfect for that date night at home. But you need bright light for doing something like a task like chopping vegetables. Keeping our homes decluttered and clean also makes a big effect on our energy. Basically, clutter pulls at our energy on a subconscious level. It just kind of ties us up. So you have to kind of think about those little things that are littered around your house, and if it's unopened mail, no matter what it is, it's just little things like that that you can kind of get a handle of or tuck out of the way, and it will really make a big effect on the way that you feel in your home. The letter N relates to nurture. Nurture is pretty much all about self-care, right? So how do you nurture yourself? There are so many ways to do so, and they can look really different from person to person. For example, you may nurture yourself by having a spiritual practice of prayer, or it may be the time that you take for yourself to read a book or to soak in the tub. Our hobbies nurture us. Cooking, well, it's a necessity, is also a really soothing and cathartic experience for me. I love nothing more in a dream day to like go to the farmer's market, come back, make a big mess of the kitchen, split all over the place, and just spend my day letting the creative juices kind of flow. Same is true for me of gardening. I absolutely love to just take those little plants in the spring and then give them a home in the yard while they create something beautiful or something delicious to eat. For our day-to-day wellness, we need to nourish our bodies and minds. Whether you like to work out at home, outdoors, or at the gym, it's always nice to have a place, at minimum, to be able to roll out a yoga mat or foam roll an aching muscle. I have clients right now in Kansas City who recently became empty nesters, and they're turning what was formerly their daughter's bedroom into a yoga and meditation room. The son's former bedroom is becoming a music room for dad. So he plays the upright bass in the church band once a week, and he has a large collection of jazz albums that he likes to listen to. We nourish ourselves by creating smart spaces in our home. My dad's the kind of guy who loves anything with an engine. Eventually, he built this enormous garage in the back where he can kind of tinker and play on all of his boats and cars and motorcycles and engine-y stuff. And my mom created a space in her home that is full of art. It's full of art and it's full of family photos, and that's where she goes to meditate and to pray. She's a very spiritual person. Having those spaces accessible to us that we can do our hobbies or we do our self-care just makes them get practiced that much more, essentially. If you have space in your house where you can create one of these environments, that's wonderful. It can certainly also be something like just a comfortable chair that you sit in that has a little side table, enough for a candle and a book and a cup of coffee. So I hope I gave you some interesting little tips and thoughts today. That, in the nutshell, is my Haven method. And I hope that you found an interesting idea or two to take with you, and that you will be inspired to create a haven of your own home.